Hello, so this is the second build. I've made some changes. It's not a VR character, it's a first person blueprint in there. I've also put a placeholder character in there just for kind of some of the visuals from mixer mode. I've also used Necro's Rockbox from the marketplace for some foliage and some rocks that you'll see in the level. And I've also used some free materials also from the marketplace, which I think one or two of them are used in the level just for some of the textures. And yeah, I've also used some sounds and some music from these packs just here, also on the marketplace. So just going ahead and press play. Added a short opening sequence and changed the color on one of the materials, the character as well, just to turn it gold, and change the roughness to metallic in the material as well to make it look a bit shiny. So most of the level layout is pretty much the same. I've changed a couple of things on the foliage, so just the light map, for example, was quite big, so just to make it a little bit more computationally friendly. With it being first person, obviously it means I can't really swing the hands back and forth, which makes this particular part of the level a little bit more difficult to push them out of the way. So I've added a jump mechanic, not just for that, but also for a stage later on the level. This section here, I've changed the outline colour just to make it a little bit more visible. The movement, the line trace still works quite well. It's set up from the camera rather than the hands, which is different from the VR version again. Just because it makes the system a little bit more happy with that process. And these cubes are a little bit easier to throw around as well now, just to make it a little bit easier to get through. And it also helps that you can jump as well. In the third build, this section here will probably have like a lake section, so that I can use that grab mechanic to pull like a large wooden object or something, just so that I can make it so you can pass across there. Otherwise, if you were to fall in, you'd reset the level, so it's just about reusing that mechanic again as well. So in the previous build, you could just shoot these and they would disappear, but I've made it so that you don't have that ability yet, so you've got to go and find that, which is why I've had this cave section over here. It was also a nice opportunity to try out a couple of things I hadn't done before, so streaming levels within Unreal, and to create different trigger points. So the music there changed, and the lighting as well. Now we've moved into this section, and I just wanted this kind of section to be quite ominous and kind of not necessarily creepy, but just a little bit dark, and just to kind of change the tone for a moment throughout the level. And by no means is this section finished. This should probably have a couple more twists and turns in it, but I wanted an obvious navigation directional cube by having this big open space over here to help the player understand it to come down here. And there we go. There is the big glowy orb that is intended to attract the player's attention. Come and get me. And then yeah, you do that, and now you will unlock the ability to fire, which is great. A couple of issues with this, just with it being in the first person blueprint, simply because I think it just needs a little bit more research, a little more tweaking around. With the VR version, the projectiles came out of the hand, which was quite effective, and they were set up within the VR blueprint as a child, so the hands themselves are kind of blueprint actors, and they were set up as children in the VR character. Whereas in the first person, it doesn't like that. I mean, it still lets you set it as a child, but then it won't. If you try and set the projectiles to come from the hand, it does something strange. It's like it's almost hitting like an invisible wall in front of the player. So again, I think it just needs a little bit more research. So I'm not going to count it out, because obviously it would be nice to have potentially a first person mode in here, because not everyone has VR. But yeah, obviously it's still something that needs to be worked on. So the idea here is obviously to sort of demonstrate to the player that they can knock these rocks out of the way, and reveal these jumping platforms, which is kind of the I suppose the sort of the tutorial almost, in terms of showing the player what they can do with these projectiles. And so I think I have made this section quite steep, but I should be able to get up. There you go, that was like 5th time lucky. So again, I might need to address that in terms of making it a little bit less steep. So it's really a case now of just going back through the cave, and I should be able to shoot those rocks now that I have the projectile ability to, and the music should change again back to outside music. Brilliant. And then we can shoot the rocks. Fantastic. Okay, so the rest of the level plays the same. So for build 3, I'd perhaps look at that first wall section. I'd like to look at maybe, instead of having something to knock them out of the way, have something to actually push them out of the way. That would be quite cool. So yeah, thanks for watching.